Let's talk real for a second here. Prime Day is not all that it seems. To the untrained eye, people might see discounts galore on tech and gadgets, deals that seem too good to be true. And that's because they're not true. What we often see are drop sellers on Amazon begin to increase their prices in a couple of weeks before Prime Day, only to slash their prices back down to what it was originally. And in so doing, making it look like you're getting a tasty discount when in fact, you're paying the price that it's always been. One of the best tools to use during these sales is a website called Camel. A ridiculous name, but a super handy tool that allows you to check the price history of any product on Amazon. Now, of course, this isn't always the case. There are going to be plenty of actual deals to be found. You just have to do some digging. And to save you some time, I've done just that. But I took a different approach this year because I thought I'd try and ascertain what deals my favourite brands were doing ahead of time. So I emailed every single brand that I've ever featured on the channel to find out what discounts they were offering for Prime Day so that I could make this episode in advance. And from the replies, I've selected a handful of my favourite products and brands that have some great discounts available. But I'm not an omnipotent being. And unfortunately, not every brand got back to me. So if you guys find any deals on Amazon that are worth noting, do drop a link below to the deal so we can check it out. Let's crowdsource some good deals here so we can all benefit from the best deals over Prime Day. But as per my list of deals from my favourite tech brands, other than the obligatory Amazon who will discount almost all of their Alexa and Echo devices to the ground, let's start with Aqara. Now, Aqara makes some absolutely fantastic smart home kit, and as you know, are among my favourite smart home manufacturers. And this Prime Day, they've got deals up to 30% off the RRP. If I was to pick any, the G4 doorbell specifically would be a worthy note, and we covered this back in April last year. There are some things that I really love about this device, and one is that it works with the Aqara internal ecosystem, so you can make use of some really powerful automations that other doorbells can't do. Things like facial recognition and automations based on who it detects are one of the big ones. This allows things like your welcome home routine to differ depending on who is coming through the door, which is a game changer. Not just this, but from a design point, it's probably one of my favourite designs of doorbell because the bell button is just gigantic and completely obvious that it's actually a button that will ring the bell, which you'd think would be common practice, but you can't deny that some manufacturers have designs that are either blend in too much or have a button small enough to be an irritant. Now, the price of this piece of kit was £120, but Amazon Prime Day sees this down to just £84, which is a nice big saving and makes it at that price one of the cheapest options whilst offering some of the more advanced features. One other product from Aqara which is worth a note is the FP2 sensor, another product we've covered in the past, which is basically witchcraft in a box. The FP2 allows you to set routines and automations based on where you are in a room, something I've only seen in science fiction films. This has a huge saving of 30% off, taking it down to 58 quid, which for one of the most advanced smart home sensors you can buy right now is pretty good value. Now, next up is another smart home brand that sits close to my heart, and that's Govee. These guys make some of the best and most versatile lighting solutions available, to the point we completely kitted the house out with Christmas smart lighting in last year's Christmas episode. Almost all of their products have discounts available on Prime Day, so they're definitely one to look at. But one product that you really must check out is their TV Backlight 3. And we covered this earlier last year as well, but in a nutshell, this is a great way of adding ambient bias lighting to the rear of your TV if it doesn't have it already, which essentially extends the picture on the screen to the lighting projected behind and around the television. Now, this type of lighting has two massive positives. Firstly, it makes the picture appear bigger and more immersive, extending the colour of the image into the room. This on its own has a great effect and creates quite a display, but it also has the added benefit of making the TV easier on the eyes. If you're in a dark room staring at a TV, which is essentially a bank of LEDs beaming light directly into your retinas, it creates rather harmful contrast which can damage your eyes over the long-term use. By adding bias lighting with the 3 lights, you lessen that contrast and your eyes will thank me for it. Maybe not now, but in 20 years, when you can see your iPhone 35 without glasses and without issue, I expect a comment coming back here and saying thank you. Now, the price of the TV Backlight 3 is down to just £55, a very good discount from its RRP, which is nearer 80, and definitely makes this technology more accessible at this price. If anything, it's a relatively cheap way of creating a much more immersive experience without the need of buying a 90-inch TV. Now, moving away from smart home tech, we've got some stuff from OpenRock, an open-ear audio brand that I love, and although I haven't yet featured any of the new OpenRock devices, I use them regularly in active sport. Now, in the past, I've had a love-hate relationship with open-ear headphones. I love the idea. Being able to have a pair of headphones on whilst doing things like running or cycling in the road, whilst not obscuring the outside noise, so I can hear things like cars coming around bends before I actually see them, is especially useful in the single track lanes that I live on. It's much better than having AirPods shoved in your ears and then riding head first into a tractor coming around a sharp bend at you, all because I couldn't hear it. The only problem was the quality, and there's very few brands that I know of that have open-ear headphones which can compete with regular headphones in terms of quality. But OpenRock is one of those brands, because they've absolutely worked some magic with the audio, giving an audio experience that certainly comes close to having a regular in-ear headphone. Now, the ones I would recommend looking at would be the OpenRock S, which, although aren't their top-of-the-range headphones, or open earphones, they offer some excellent value for money, and even more given the discount available today, bringing them down from £80 to just £63. A great price for what I think are some of the better open-ear headphones available at this point in time. Now, going back to smart home stuff, Reolink are doing some excellent deals for Prime Day. Now, Reolink have been on my radar since I reviewed their Duo 3 security camera a couple of months ago, which was the first experience I'd had of hardwired security cameras, which I do quite like now. But one thing that struck me about Reolink was the sheer amount of cameras that they sell. Seriously, there is literally a camera for every niche. They have dual lens cameras, cameras that track you, cameras that have a mechanical zoom lens, cameras with massive floodlights on them, and they offer wired and wireless varieties too, something which is unusual because normally manufacturers tend to double down on either wireless or wired. But almost their entire range on Amazon has up to 53% off, which is wild. But one you should absolutely look at is the Argus 4 Pro, their newest wireless camera that's an utter powerhouse of features. I've yet to actually feature this on the channel, but I have got it on the schedule, so do expect a full review on it next month. But this thing is an absolute beast. Like the Duo 2, it's got two lenses placed side by side, angled outwards, sort of like a fish. What this effectively does is give you a super wide angle view of 108 degrees with a higher resolution and absolute minimal distortion on the extremities, which is perfect for covering large areas with just one camera. Now, the Pro version also features quite unique no spotlight, full color night vision, which makes this fantastic at being an unobtrusive nighttime camera, along with a ton of features that Reolink software lets you do, like time-lapse, two-way comms, rich notifications, amongst other things. It really is one of the more advanced wireless cameras though on the market, and usually the Argus 4 Pro with a solar panel is £220. For Prime Day, it's down to just £147, which is a huge shaving off the price of this pretty new device. So that's a good one to look at. Now, a slightly different brand that I've covered in a much smaller capacity, but it has been a staple part of my studio for nearly, well, forever, is Ugreen. I would bet my slippers that you would probably recognise the name. They do all manner of peripherals, from accessories such as stands, adapters, cables, NAS solutions, and one of their newest additions are their Nexode power banks, perhaps some of the nicer designed portable power banks for a good while. And there's a few different flavours of these power banks available, including one that has a hinged wireless charger on the top, which looks great, but that's coming soon. I haven't yet tried that one. But the ones they have available now are their 12K, 20K and 25K mAh capabilities. The smallest one, the 12K, has a 100 watt output, so it can be used to fast charge things and charge things like your laptop without a problem, even though it's small. It's got a simple .LCD display that showcases the remaining charge, which, if left alone for a short while, will display a face which changes depending on the level of charge remaining, which is not needed, but it's a friendly touch. And the 20K model has a maximum total output of 130 watts, again, which is great for charging everything you have. And this one features a colour TFT display and a bunch more ports, but keeps a slimline, modern and sleek design that I'm really quite a big fan of. I like how it doesn't look particularly bulky, yet has such a high capacity, with a few sprinkles of nice design touches, such as the rubberized feet on the reverse side of the screen, meaning that it's not slipping everywhere when you have the cables plugged in. And that's genius. But it's so simple. Now, both of these have 30% off for Prime Day, with their 20K model coming down from £89 to £62, which is phenomenal value for a battery of this quality and this size. Now, next up, let's take a look at Edifier. Edifier is an absolute regular on the channel, and for good reason. They make some excellent audio tech, and most recently we featured their absolutely insane design of the newest speakers, the QR65s. Now, Edifier already offers some utterly astounding value, especially when it comes to over-ear headphones. We featured the WH950MBs last year, which I still think are wonderful headphones and some of the best noise cancellation you can get in the mid-range price bracket. But for those wanting something in a little bit of a cheaper packet, Edifier have released the W830NBs. For all intents purposes, these are remarkably good and will give even the 950MBs a run for their money. In terms of sound quality, they feature that signature Edifier warmth, which is a big preference for me and I love it. And in terms of design, they're simple, sleek and slightly sophisticated. They aren't quite as big as the N50NBs and the noise cancellation might not be quite as good, but as I said, they're certainly jogging not far behind, but what they're sprinting past the 950NBs with is their price. These are less than half the price at £79, which was already a good price. But with Prime Day, these are down to £63, giving 20% discount off the RRP, which makes these an excellent price and excellent value in my opinion. There's a ton of discounts off other Edifier tech too, such as the 950NBs, which have 20% off, down to £109, the Neobuds Pro 2, which we also featured, down 31% to £89, and the highest discount, and probably the most discount in terms of percentage from any of the brands that got back to me, is their GX05 gaming earbuds, which have one of the wildest designed full metal cases that I've ever seen, featuring RGB panels and this rotating fidget style bracket that holds the earbuds in the case. These things have a whopping 64% discount, down from £150 to £53. So if you're eyeing those up, now would be the absolute best time to buy those. But last but not least, and this wouldn't be complete without another of my favourite smart home brands, SwitchBot. These guys, like Aqara, have been nailing it out of the park recently with their innovation, and in fact SwitchBot have always done that. They were one of the first to introduce a smart robot finger that presses analog switches, turning not smart devices smart. But more recently, I featured their S10 robot vacuum, which has some massive implications on the future of robot cleaning tech. Of course, lots of the functionality is largely the same as any other robot vacuum cleaner. Features you've come to expect, like vacuuming, mopping, self-emptying, obstacle avoidance, LiDAR navigation, but it also has a bunch of other features that were a first for robot vacuum cleaners, such as a roller mop that auto rises and cleans itself as you go, or full-on headlights for use in the dark. But most intriguingly, it features the ability to have a separate water station plumbed directly into your plumbing to fill itself and empty the dirty water from the mopping. The S10 just brings us one step closer to an intervention-free experience with robot vacuum cleaners, and I love it for that reason. But not only this, it will also work with a SwitchBot humidifier that it can fill up from taking water from the tap, and also the upcoming dehumidifier the robot can empty when that's full and use the water taken from the dehumidifier to clean the floors with. If that's not innovation, I don't know what is. But at £1,099, this is out of the price range of many people. Well, Prime Day here has come to the rescue and they've dropped the price down to £799, which is still expensive. But as the biggest discount in terms of monetary value on this list is absolutely worth looking at if you were thinking about the S10 but have been sat on the fence due to the price. It's not often that you get £300 discount, but there are a ton of other discounts that SwitchBot are offering, and a load of kind of packages as well where you can get multiple products in the same package, so check those out as well. But with that concludes my Prime Day list this year. There may be more discounts from brands who didn't get back to me in time to make this episode, but these have been some of the best discounts from brands that tend to make an appearance on STU'S reviews quite a bit, and deals that I've picked out from the hundreds of products that came back to me and said there's going to be discounts on. And as a reminder, if you find any deals on Amazon that you think should need checking out, make sure you be kind, share the love, and drop a link below so we can check them out. And I'll leave the link to all of the products I've mentioned in today's episode in the description below so you can check out the deals for yourselves. Just make sure you hit that buy button whilst Prime Day sales are on, which I believe ends the 17th of July. So this video will get no views after them. But other than that, I hope this has helped you somewhat, and I'll see you guys back for a regular episode of STU'S Reviews soon.